Dear students, welcome to Experimental Techniques and Material Characterizations lecture number 26. I'm Dr. Parvez Ahmed. Here on we will continue our discussions on X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy. This is the part third. In these lectures, we will have our discussions on how does XPS technology work. So let's proceed towards today's lecture. That is we will start our discussions from the question that how does XPS technology works. So just like we mentioned in the previous lecture that in XPS technology or in XPS analysis we have a mono energetic X-ray beam which emit photoelectrons from the surface of the sample. I mean, what actually we have, we shine a mono energetic X-ray beams on the surface of a particular material which we want to analyze. So that monoenergetic X-ray beams, they emit the electron from that particular surface. So that electron since being emitted by the monoenergetic X-ray, so that's been called the photoelectrons. I mean, the electron is being emitted by an X-ray photons. So the X-ray which we utilize during the XPS analysis, there are two types with respect to energy. We have aluminum K alpha, so it has energy that is equal to 1486.6 electron volt. And if we use magnesium K alpha, so magnesium K alpha, it has energy 1253.6 electron volt. So the X-ray photons have the penetrations about a micrometer of the sample. I mean, the X-ray which we use here, I mean during the XPS analysis, it has the penetrations length. I mean it's the range up to which it can penetrate in the sample. So it's equal to 1 micrometers. And the XPS spectrum contain the information is only about the top 10 to 100 micron of the sample. I mean, what it mean? It mean that we can have analysis with the help of the XPS that should lie in the range of 1 to 10 nanometers or 10 to 100 angstrom of the sample. So that's why it's called it's basically called surface analysis technique. And you also remember that XPS is basically ultra high vacuum technique. I mean, it's need ultra high vacuum environment, and the reason for ultra high vacuum is that to eliminate the surface from the contamination. I mean, there are possible contaminations, possible impurities. So in order to have a clear environment, in order to a contamination free environment, so we use ultra high vacuum during the XPS analysis. And during the XPS analysis, we have a cylindrical mirror analyzer that in short we call CMA. So the roles of the CMA is to measure the kinetic energy of the emitted electron. Since as a result of the photoelectric effect, the electrons, the photoelectron, they are being emitted. So in order to analyze those electrons, so for that purpose we have CMA and XPS system. The spectrum plotted by the computers from the analyzer signal. I mean, we have from the CMA, we got the informations, and with the help of those information, the computer plot the sample of the XPS analysis. So the binding energies can be determined from the peak positions and the elements present in the samples identified. So typical as a result of the XPS analysis, we get a typical XPS spectrums. So that contain a peak. The peak has the peak are being positioned at different binding energies, and along with that, they are also being takes. So with that, we can identify the elements that's being present in the sample. So now we proceed toward the questions that why does XPS need ultra high vacuum? So as we already discussed that the role of the ultra high vacuum is that we have contamination at the surface. I mean the possible contamination at the surface. So XPS is a surface, and we also learned that XPS is a surface sensitive techniques, and there might be possible contaminants at the surface. So that contaminants will produce an XPS signal and lead to incorrect analysis of the surface of the compositions. So that's why in order to get the correct analysis of the materials, so we need an ultra high vacuum. For ultra high vacuum, I mean, we need a range. So what should be the range? So we already learned in some of our previous courses that it's thin film technology. So we have learned different ranges of the vacuum and how that we measure. So for ultra high vacuum, the pressure of the vacuum system should be equal or less than 10 raised to the power minus 9 torr. So this is the range for the ultra high vacuum. I mean, if somebody asks that what is the range for ultra high vacuum, so ultra high vacuum is equal or smaller than 10 raised to power minus 9 torr. And the role of that ultra high vacuum is, we need it for removing the contaminations from the sample, and to remove the contaminations at the sample surface as for removing the contaminations. We also have the argon ion. So the argon ions, they also been used to remove the contamination the sample surface have. The sample surface can have hydrocarbon. The sample surface can have oxygen. So that contaminants we can remove with the help of the argon ions. So the argon ion should have the energy that it should be equal to 3 kilo electron volt. So heat and oxygen can be used to remove the hydrocarbons. We can utilize argons to remove the contaminations. Along with that, we can also use heat and oxygens in order to remove the possible hydrocarbons impurity that one may have at the sample surface, which you want to analyze with the XPS. The XPS techniques could cause damage to the surface, but that damage is not to the extent which one should count. That is very, 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 very small, so that we can consider it negligible. So we cannot say that the XPS is a surface destructive technique. So XPS is safe. It's not destroying the sample to the extent where you can say that it's destructive technique. So it is safe techniques, and the destruction caused by it is negligible. So the atom and the X-ray situations that one might have during the XPS analysis, you can visualize this here. So this is a complete atom. Example of the atom. So inside the nucleus, you can see we have proton and neutrons, and the shells are different orbits. We have the electrons and the vacancies. So here you can see, the electron is being ejected from here. So instead of that, we have the electron vacancy. The X-ray comes here and it's eject the electrons. That is a free electron. We can also call that as a photoelectron. So once it's been emitted with the help of the X-ray photons. These are the core electrons. So X-rays on the surface. So how do X-ray react with the surface, and how do the atoms or the electrons their response to the X-rays from the outside source. So you can typically observe that here we have atomic layers. These are the atomic layers. You can see that, you can check for yourself. So from the top, the arrow sign, they indicate the X-rays. It's the possible X-rays during the XPS analysis. So the dotted the blue, the dark blue, it's represent the inner surfaces of the atom, and the light blue, this is the top layers, or you can say the outer surface of the atom. So when the X-ray interacts with the topmost layer of the atom, so here you can see that uh, we have colors, we have different colors, we have so here you can see that these color they represents the electrons top layers. So you can see that these are the top layers, these are the top layers electrons, and these in the red they represents the lower layers electron with the collisions. These are electron lower layer with the collisions. So some of the electron they ejected directly from the surface once the X-ray interact with the outermost layer, and some of the electron from the inner layers they are ejected. But during the ejection, during their motions, they have a collisions with the electrons of the other atom. So let's explain all these things in detail. So first, the X-ray will penetrate to the cores of the atom and sample, which you people have observed on the previous slide. Then some electrons are going to be released without any problems, giving the kinetic energies characteristic of their elements that you also observed. And then we can have other electrons which will come from the inner layers and collide with other electrons of the upper layers. So what are the roles? What are the roles, or what are the outcome of these electrons? So these electrons they will be lower in the energy, and along with that they will contribute to the nice signal of the spectrum. We're talking about the electron from the inner layers of the atom. The inner layer of the atoms, electrons from the lower layer of the atom, they will eject, but once they eject they will interact with the upper layers electron, and what are their roles? Their roles is they will be counted only as the noise signals during the XPS analysis. So here you can see again in detail the X-rays and the electrons interactions. So here you can see the different layers of the atoms and the interaction of the X-rays with the different atoms. So here you can see we have the X-rays, and the X-ray they interact with the different atoms. So as a result of that we have two kind of the electron. One kind of the electron that you can see it here, they are interact they are come out from the atom without collision. And we have second type of the electron which you can see it, and it's basically emitted from the inner layers, and they are being once it's emitted, so these electrons after their emissions they have collisions with other electrons with other electron in the other layer. So the noise signals come from the electron that collide with other electron, which you can see it here. And it's from the different layers. So the collision causes a decrease in the energy of the electron, and it no longer will contribute to the characteristic energy of the element. So what electron can the cylindrical mirror analyzer detect? It's again the question. So the CMA not only can detect the electron from the irradiation of the X-rays, it can also detect the electrons from radiations by the electron gun. So the electron gun is located inside the CMA, while the X-ray source is located on the top on the instrument. That we have shown already in the previous lecture while we were discussing about the structure or the inside of the XPS instrument. So that thing you have already you have analyzed, and you have seen that that where the CMA or where the electron gun is located inside the XPS instrument. So the only electron normally used in the spectrums from irradiations by the electron guns are known as Auger electron. So Auger electrons are also produced by X-ray irradiation. So what are the outer electrons, and what we can get in terms of spectroscopy from the outer electrons? So that we will discuss in the next lecture. That will be lecture number 4 on the X-ray photoelectrons spectroscopy. So stay tuned for the next lecture. That will be lecture number 27. So till then, bye bye.